Greetings, Internet, and welcome to Aaron Plays, and I hope you're doing fantastically well. In this episode, I am just leaning over. I am going to do some more Panzerblitz. Situation 2. I'll be playing the Germans against Ari, who's from Finland, using Vassal. He's playing the Russians. This will be Situation 1 was my very first time ever playing. Situation 2 is my second time playing. So let's see how that goes. We'll go down onto the, well, I say go down to the board. We're not going down to the board. We're going through the screen with the Vassals already loaded and ready to go. So I'm going to explain plans in that scenario and then show it being played because we went through the log file where this scenario, keep saying scenario, situation. We went through in the first situation. I didn't have a log file go. I just explained what had happened and how it went out. This one, I've actually got a log file and I'm going to go through it. Now, we played for about 3 hours and I'm not going to show all that in one video. That might take 2, maybe even 3 videos. We'll see how it goes. I don't want each episode to be too long. So, a bit of housekeeping. If you could hit the like button if you enjoy what you see, it all helps the channel. Subscribe if you haven't done so already. Again, it helps the channel, and any comments will be much appreciated, especially when I start playing the game and I make any rules mistakes, or both me or Harry make rules mistakes. The final 2 things, there's now on my channel a super thanks and a super chat. These allow you to make a donation to the channel. It just helps me out. Gets me a cup of coffee, or if there's enough of you that actually do super thanks, I might even be able to pick up an extra game, which I could then put on the channel. So it's all to go back into the channel. Well, the coffee might not be, but then the coffee keeps me awake. That means I'm making, and especially if I get too much coffee, I'll start jittering. But yeah, that's entirely up to you guys. And I think the super chat is when you do that, and it's against the donation thing, it highlights your chat that makes me go, "Oh, I've got to answer that one straight away." So, or spend a bit more time on it, or whatever. At the end of the day, it's entirely up to you guys. It's how much you like what I do. If you want to show how much you like what I do, more likes helps the channel. A little super chat helps me. So let's get on to the actual game itself, and I'll see you in a moment. Okay, so this brings us to the scenario card, Panzerblitz Situation 2. I'm playing the Germans, Ari's playing the Russians. The Russians are coming in from the north edge of the map board, which is shown obviously up here, these 3 forces, and I'm coming on from the southern edge of the map board with these guys here. Now, the scenario does say, bring it back on, that it definitely defines which map board the Russian forces come on. The Germans can come on any of the map boards, but wherever they come on, they must come on all on the same map board. And as you can see, the scenario is 10 turns long. Now, the Russians only have 1 armored unit. Most of their forces are either infantry or some form of artillery or mortar. They've got a truck, they've got a wagon, and such forth, but most of their stuff is infantry, quite powerful infantry. I've got some tanks, some Stugs, trucks, half-tracks infantry, but my infantry is considerably weaker than his, and that becomes quite important as the scenario progresses. So how does each force win? Well, let's just remove this situation card out of the way. I've actually put on the board these markers. For a marginal Soviet victory, he needs to get at least 1 unit along that row or lower. For a tactical victory, he must get at least 1 unit along that row or lower. And for a decisive victory, he's got to get at least 1 unit along that row or lower. So, yeah, 1 unit. Nothing more. Now, for me to get a marginal victory, I've got to destroy 10 Soviet units. To get a tactical, I've got to destroy 20 Soviet units. Now, let's have a quick look at some of it. I mean, a typical standard Soviet infantry unit. Look at that defense strength. So remember these 4 values. You got the first one's attack. That one there is range. The third one there, the 16, is defense. And the last one's movement. So attack, range, defense, movement. A, R, D, M. Or as I all Randy dogs mate. Okay, that's my little acronym for it. So they've got quite a high defense value, but they're only moving 1. So he's only going to be able to move 1 hex per turn. So it's 8 hexes, or 8 hex rows to this row. That only means he's got 2 more turns to get there. He's not going to get to this line unless I free up a road with his infantry. But he does have trucks and half tracks. It says 1 unit. A truck's a unit. A half track's a unit. Or a wagon. He hasn't got half tracks. I've got half tracks. A wagon's a unit. He's also got 1 self-propelled Su-76, which is a unit. So yeah, I've got to be careful of that, and also his infantry road movement. So I think it's going to be very hard for me to get, or to stop him getting a marginal victory. And I need to destroy 10 units to get a marginal victory. So I've got to basically try and take out some of these units. Some of these weaker units is the idea, to at least get a marginal victory. I can't see me getting a tactical, which means I've got to destroy 20 units. That is just bonkers. I can't see that at all. So we'll be skipping through the log, which is to the side of the screen here, and showing now the Germans come on first. And I'm going to go through maybe the first turn or two in this video and explain what's going on. So I can scroll through the map, I can zoom in and out on the map, but the Germans come on first. So let's we had a little bit of a chat about what was going on and terrain, and there's the first guy moving in. Let me just zoom in on that chap. Okay, units moving along roads. If they enter via road, they've got to use the next unit behind it on the road uses up the movement of the first unit. So this first unit moves there for 1, and there'll be 2. The next unit, that'll be already at half for that unit, and then 1, and such forth. As you can see, I'm moving on the road. Once I move off the road, half tracks, then 1 movement point per hex. Next unit, so this is a truck, so it's spending the half that this unit's already spent, plus its own, so it costs it 1 movement point to get. So that's actually 1.5, 2, 3, 4, and then trucks on clear terrain is 2, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. To get onto that hex would have been 4 for trucks. The Stug, now there's 2 of those, so that hex there would have been at 1.5. That's 2 to there, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Where in the last value is the movement. And so it continues. Move along the road. And that's the first group. The second group, all right, so they're not going to be entering by the road. Or defining that they've got to enter a hex, a whole hex. That's not even a right definition. Can't enter partially on the other board. It's got to be on completely on one board, on that half hex. So that's 1 to there, 2. Now all units entering it there, it's different to a road because it costs 1, 2, and then from there on 3, 4. Back on the road 5, 6, 7, 8. And split off 4, so half track again. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So as you can see, when they get onto the roads, they do move at quite a rate. Trucks, 2 points a clear hex. That's 11.5 to there, the other trucks behind. Then these forces, they had a little bit of a few movement issues. So I worked out, I'll show you when we get there. Once I got to that point, I realised vehicles can't go through marsh, and that would be 3 movement points to go up that slope. I thought, And I really thought about it, and then came in this hex instead. 1, that's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8.5. It's only half in a town. 9, 10. We had a little discussion about the terrain, and then I just moved the units behind to catch up. And that was about it. Well, there was no shooting. So then we brought the Russians. He started sorting his forces out. And this is where I got, there was like a, what do you call it, a Space Invader feel. You know, because the infantry can only move, well, he's moving the tank at the present moment. But the infantry can only move 1 hex unless it's on a road. And it's going to take him quite a bit of time to get down there. So, puts them all on the line, and effectively moving on the board is their 1 movement point. So in comes, this second force, brings a guy in by truck, dismounts them, which is perfectly legal. You can move. Sorry, use the word is transport. You can transport a unit, you can transport and unload a unit, or you can load a unit. You can't load a unit and then transport. So, and he's taking the truck back. We had a little discussion about that. Is that allowed? And it is. So, okay. And then he's bringing in some mortars. Some of his mortars and artillery are quite formidable as well. But we'll go into that once they come on. And again, the infantry doing their little thing. All right. And he's brought this here. Look at the size of that attack value, 40. It's 122 millimeter howitzer, or heavy artillery or whatever it is, but it's nasty. It's got a range of 20 as well. Another thing which I sort of discovered, so this is my only second attempt playing and discovering, is the restrictions on fire. You can fire, most games are reciprocal. If you can see and shoot at something, you can shoot it back. If they can see you, you can see them. This game doesn't work that way. Most definitely not. This guy here is in the wood. I can only target him if I've got a unit adjacent to him. But he can target out any sort of clear terrain, and I can't fire back at him until I've got a unit adjacent to him. Totally different thought process, but one that I'll have to get my head around. I've got it towards the end of the actual scenario. This is my turn 2. I'm moving up. I'm dismounting those infantry to engage. Moving some more units up. Reinforce. I need my guys as far forward as possible to stop him getting around and getting into at least the tactical victory. It's the last thing I need. I'm working out my movement rates, how far my trucks can get. That's what the X is for. And bringing up more infantry and guns and such forth to reinforce that front area. So I've got an infantry unit here that's dismounted, got an infantry unit in this counter which is still in its half track, got a truck with a 81mm, and look at the attack strength now, 3. Rubbish. When we look at one, it's got a mortar here which is 120mm, 24 attack value. But that's because my guys are platoons and his are companies. Hence why they're stacking. I can stack 3 and he can only stack 2 units in a hex. So start bringing some more guns up. Working out what he can do with that mortar. So this is where I decide, well, let's see what I can do around the flank of it. If I can come up this way, he can't see through this hex. I know it's got a movement of 0. So you can't just drag the mortars across. Sorry, that's the howitzers across. You'd have to reload them and move to there. So I'm thinking if I can come this way, I might be able to close assault it and get rid of it. That's the thought process anyway. Okay, and then I'll carry on moving up here. There's a couple of places we create traffic jams and make mistakes, and then we correct them as we move along. for example, this truck that I'm moving up here can't actually go through that hex. There's a half track in there, and notice these big green barriers here. That means I can't go off the road. I can only go through these woods along the road if it's got those barriers there. So that truck couldn't do what it's just done. Move it down, I unloaded it, and then went, can't do that. Moved it back and then realized, oops, okay, take it back and move it correctly. So yes, and the sequence of play is with movement. You've got to move your vehicles and then you can move your infantry as well. And it's something, it does take a little bit of time to get the thought processes around that. So this is all vehicle movement for the Germans. And yeah, up they come. Again, you can fire or you can move. You can't do both. If you move, you can overrun, which is an attack, and infantry can do close assaults. Okay. So just moving some vehicles, unloading a mortar. Now that's a bit more like it. I've got 15 there with attack 20. That's not too bad until you think, wait a minute, a lot of those Russian units are 16. So it's maybe 1-to-1. Okay. I think that's pretty much. He did an attack on that unit there with that big gun and disrupted it. That's what his gun's marked 5. Now the thing in this, you also must declare all your shots. You can't just say, right, this unit fires, roll the dice. Now this unit will fire and roll the dice. You declare all your shots, then you roll the dice, all of your attacks. Again, takes a bit of time to get your head around that concept, but we got there. What's he doing? He's working out his movement here, I think. Truck goes back. This little tank, he said this is his game-winning tank because he's very hard. You could to track it down and keep it in place, but I do work out a way to do so. All his infantry yet doing the Space Invader move as they crawl along the board, and they're now 2 hexes into end of turn 2. There's guard units. Look at them. The Russian Guard. Defense of 18. Wow. These are the units that I've got to target, though. The recon. Because I've only got defense of 4. So that's more like it. But he sort of, they're quite far from my units. What are we doing now? Is this, yeah, he's clean. This is me working out who I'm targeting. All right, so I'm firing in this hex here, my half track against his artillery unit, anti-tank unit. This unit, okay, I can't fire at it because I've got no one adjacent. He can fire out because my guys are in the open. But he's in the woods, I can't fire at him. So he thinks he's safe there. I disagreed. I was looking at this thinking, wait a minute, vehicles can't cross these green borders. So already he can't move into that hex or that hex if he has to move. So all I need is a unit in there, there, and there. At which point he pointed out, remember, vehicles can overrun. I said, well, vehicles can't overrun vehicles. Oh, yes, they can. So this is where I come up with Operation Blooming. As you can see, I was thinking about that. That's his unit. Can't go into those hexes. So all I've got to do now is prevent overruns. To prevent overruns, you've got to have another unit behind your unit. So I need 8 units, 1 in each hex along that he can move, so he can't overrun. Because overrun, you've got to, the hex that you end up in must have no enemy units in it. So I plan my moves accordingly. Yeah, this isn't a good move either. Dismounting that artillery there, I'm thinking, yeah, it's all right. On top of a hill. No, he's sitting in the open on top of a hill. His mortar here, sorry, his howitzer here, is sitting in a woods on top of a hill, therefore can't be targeted unless you've got an enemy unit next to it. My guy's sitting there with his bum in the air saying, oh, you can all see me, shoot me, because he's not got any terrain protecting him. Learning curve. Won't be doing that again. You'll see why at one point. Half track's coming back and starting to become involved in what we were calling at this point Operation Flower, because it's going to look like a flower, as you see as I move units adjacent. Now, is this historical? No. Did it work? Well, we'll see. But yeah. Also, this is the first point I'm going to say, is this a correct maneuver? Because I'm planning to unload and then close assault into there. We went through the rules. Couldn't see anything that stopped me bringing infantry up in a half track, unloading them, and then they close assault because they haven't fired. Units that fire can't close assault. Units that move by rope can't close assault. I haven't moved by rope. It doesn't say anything that you could you move your normal value and then unload and then close assault. If there is an errata that we've missed or anything like that, please say so in the comments. That would be much appreciated. But and we decided that they can close assault, and we'll be continuing that in all of our games from now on, unless one of you guys out there go, Sirius said no, got to do it correctly. But that seemed about right. You know, half track, bringing up the infantry, the unload, and go and attack somewhere. That just seems right. Anyway, moving on, more vehicles into Operation Flower. So as you can see now, he can't, from this position, he can't move. Can't move there because of the green barrier. Can't go into that as an overrun because I'm there. You can't overrun like that. That's not allowed. So every hex that he can move, there's a German unit. He did point out if this unit survived, it could like blow that unit up quite easily, and then he just walks out. That's why I've done it this way as best as I can. So carrying on, bringing units up, move my infantry there, and I'm now going to do a close assault there myself. Show the target, rolled a 1, took it out. That's the first unit I've taken out on the second turn. So 9 to go. Attacking that unit to that unit, and that didn't go too well. I rolled a 4, which became a 3 because it was a close assault. And you take a -2, and then you get a +1 for the woods. So at least this disabled it. Okay. His tank there. So trying to work out who's firing at. Not sure exactly what's going on there. I can't remember. We're having a discussion. He fires at my tank, and disrupts it. It's not disrupt, is it? Disperses it. That's it. That's him fired. He couldn't move. He was trying to take out one of my tanks. He failed. Okay, then moving his trucks. Dismount. Look at that. 24 attack factors. Range of 20. And then the gradual infantry advance forward. He then undisrupts his units, and we begin my turn 3. I then work out what I'm going to fire at that tank of his that's now sort of pinned. I get a 4-to-1 attack on it because my armor versus armor at half range or less is doubled. So I do get a 4-to-1 attack on it, and anything but a 6 will take it out. I then work out what I'm firing at his mortar units there. Some of the vehicles will fire at that because I do now have a unit that's adjacent. And working out, I rolled no roll yet. I'm working what's going to fire at his gun there. Yeah, that's visible. Thought I made a mistake. And then I was working out my mortars. Can they fire? They could. And then we roll some dice. So the first one against his tank, I rolled a 5, which then became a 6, which at 4-to-1 is still enough to take it out. Then fired some more rolls, took out his mortar with some shots. So at this point, I'm thinking, okay, I've taken out a few units. It's what, 3 of them, 4 of them. 6 more to go. And it's only turn 3. Ah, rocking and rolling. Yeah, I'm sure it's only turn 3. Yeah. Oh, no, it's access turn 4. Sorry. Yeah, access turn 4. Okay, so I'm not doing too bad. So, yeah, tank taken out. Some shots marking the units that have fired. Slowly straighten them back up because I've sort of been angling them to remind me who's firing at what. Move some more units now just to try and stop his infantry getting any road movement. So I'm blocking the roads. I don't think I have the strength to take on his infantry toe to toe unless I can get some overruns going with my tanks. So I'm making again, just defending the roads. Okay. Get my trucks to pick up some infantry later on. Clear up. Wish there'd been a clear up button on this module to get rid of all the fires and disperse. There isn't one. Here's mortar now. This big beastie here. Okay, remembering he's in the woods. I can't fire at him, but he can definitely fire at my guys that aren't in the woods. And that's where this guy is sitting with his bum in the air because he's right in the open. And there they go. He's going to fire at it. He's telling me I should have put it in the woods. Yeah, realise that now. So I'm clicking quite quickly through this, but he's lining up that shot. He's also got to remember lining up all his shots. That's pretty much. I think there's a lot of clicking here, but nothing really happening. Not sure why. He's marked it as fired. And now that's gone. So, and then he does a bit more manoeuvring, getting his infantry forward with trucks. Look at this one coming down the side here. Got to do something about that. Big nasty infantry unit. He's on the hex row, so he can now at the moment claim I've got to take him out, but he's in the marginal victory zone with that one infantry unit there. And then the Space Invader crawl of the rest of them moving gradually forward. Massive units. And that would then take us to the turn 5, but I'm going to stop there. So we've done the first 4 turns to conclusion. At the present moment, yeah, I've taken 4 of his units out, but I've got another 6, and it's going to get increasingly harder. So I'm going to take us back up to the top of the screen, back to me, and we'll finish off this video. Well, I hope you enjoyed that. I mean, yeah, I did click quite fast through that. Part of the reason is because this is the second time I've done it. The first time I did it, the sound wasn't working. So I did the whole video and there was no audio, so I had to record the whole lot again. So I was clicking through that quite quickly. Is the game realistic? There are quite a lot of things that aren't, especially there's no operation fire. Operation fire? No, there's not one. Opportunity fire. Yeah, so you can pretty much move all the way around a unit and you can't do anything about it. Until you start thinking the hexes are 250 meters across. So 4 hexes is a kilometer. So if you think, you go and stand in the open out somewhere and you look at 250 meters, there are little gullies and rivets and all the rest of it that things can actually hide behind. So maybe, opportunity fire is not the ideal scenario way of looking at it. However, they corrected that apparently in Panzer Leader. So who knows? It does create some bizarre things on the board, but the main thing, and I keep emphasizing this, the game plays fast and it's fun. We were chatting and playing and we completed the whole scenario in 3 hours. It's 10 turns. That's not bad going. Considering Harry hasn't played it for a while, and this is only my second time ever playing it. So, and of course, there's bound to be errors that we've made and not ideal tactics and such. But I don't do these videos for ideal tactics. I want to show you guys the game and encourage you maybe to pick it up and to play it yourself, because it's not complex. You can take it to someone who hasn't played any of these kind of games, like my brother and so forth, and say, let's have a bash, and they could be playing it within an hour. You give them an ASL rule book, they're going to go, no, thank you very much. And that's it. You've lost interest. But if you can get someone to play this, it's a stepping stone to something maybe a little bit more realistic, if that's what you want, or a little bit more complex, if that's what you want, or a stepping stone onto just more games along the same sort of levels. Like I said, I'm going through Undaunted with my brother. That's what made me actually think about Panzerblitz when I saw it. I thought, yeah, it's meant to be quite a simple game. Let's pick it up and see if he wants to play it. I haven't introduced him yet, but we'll see. Maybe in the next few weekends' time. Who knows? But at the present moment, I'm playing it online on Vassal and having a blast with it. So I would like to thank Harry for that. You've only seen the first 4 turns. I'm not going to reveal how it actually ended up. But we did get a definite result, and yeah, it was fun. So until next time, play games, have fun, and I'll see you later. Bye, Internet.